Alright, guys, welcome back to Machin. So, we gotta talk. World Cup starts very, very soon, and honestly, I don't think Mexico's gonna make it very far. Mexico is absolutely cooked, and here's why. So, let's rewind the clock a little bit. 4 years ago, back in Qatar, Mexico did not make it out the group stage. They get knocked out in the group stage. First time it's happened in 44 years. Last time they did not make it out the group stage was back in 78 for Argentina. So that does not look good. Which, I mean, the group consisted of Poland, Argentina, which, won it, and Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, Argentina, and Poland, I think they drew. No, I think they lost to Argentina as well. So, like, you know, a fairly tough group, but we should have realistically made it out. And what made it worse is that Mexico decided to not show up until the game against Saudi Arabia. Against Poland, they gave a penalty, didn't play very well. Against Argentina, right? The manager at the time, Tata, who we should not speak of him, that guy decided to keep out Edson Alvarez, our best player and best defensive player, out the game, kept him on the bench. What did Messi do? Messi scores. We lose the game 1-0. And then against Saudi Arabia, we actually were playing pretty good ball, but Saudi Arabia scored. We needed to absolutely demolish them. We needed to beat them like 4-0, I think it was. We didn't do that. We conceded. That was it. That was the end of the run. We came in third place, goal difference below Poland's. That's why we were knocked out. Absolute disappointment of a campaign for us. And, okay, sucks. As a fan, worked out for me overall. I'm able to enjoy the 2022 World Cup without being invested in it. And honestly, it served me better. But, all right, pack it up. We got 4 years to make it better. All right, let's work on that. And I don't think we did that. I don't think this federation did not do the necessary changes it needed to, elevate us and hopefully be better for this World Cup. Let's start with the manager. Manager situation, we get out Tata because he was terrible. Bro sold us. He was also Argentinian. So, people were like, oh, this guy really wanted Argentina to win. That's why he did not play Edson Alvarez, which neither here nor there anymore at that point. He's gone, right? So Mexico is looking for a new manager. Names being listed. Number one priority option, Marcelo Bielsa, which this guy's been around for a while. He's a really good manager. Did a good job at Leeds, He's fantastic. He's a really, really good manager. I like the way he plays. Pressing style. Very, very pressing. Likes to move forward. Not passive at all. Very much not a passive play style. So, me personally, I was glad to hear that. However, Mexico being Mexico, they decided against it. For multiple reasons, right? Major ones that came up was he doesn't know Liga MX, so he doesn't know the players. So they wanted somebody within the the Liga MX structure and all that, and knew the players very well. But secondly, the one that rubbed the Mexico FA even more off was the fact that Marcelo Bielsa wanted to revolutionize everything from the federation, from the under 16s all the way to the men's senior team, to changing the facilities, implementing the playstyle he wants to do, taking charge of everything. He wanted to be in charge of everything, which is great. Honestly, I would have loved that because Mexico FA is not built for that. They want money, unfortunately, and money will be a very big factor in much of this discussion. So obviously, Bielsa said, "Give me the power. I want it, and I think I can do it." And Mexico FA got scared, which a lot of the FA owners are also Mexican Liga MX club owners, which just doesn't work. So this guy wanted everything in control. But the FA was too afraid of giving up that control. They wanted to keep their pockets filled because one of the restrictions that Bielsa wanted was limiting the commercial success of it. I guess you wanted to focus more on the football aspect, the whole reason we're here for. He wanted to emphasize that. The FA didn't like that. They said, no. Thank you very much for your time, but we will go with someone else. So we lose Bielsa. We go through 3 managers in 3 different years. Diego Coca, who was in charge of a Liga MX team. I forgot which one, but he was in charge of one, which is what they wanted. They wanted somebody that knew the players. Okay, great. Give him a chance. He's gone in 7 games. One of those including a defeat of 3-0 to USA in the CONCACAF Nations League. Terrible. So, all right, makes sense. Get him out. After that, we get in Jimmy Lozano, who, me personally, I was iffy on, but I think he did all right for the most part. You know, he won us a Gold Cup, which is kind of the bare minimum, I feel like, considering, you know, the Gold Cup is either always won by Mexico or USA. So, but he did do that, right? I gotta give him his props. He did that. Great job, Jimmy. But then Copa America happens, gets knocked down the group stages. I watched some of those games. I think the refs are a little biased, but hey, again, neither here nor there. It doesn't really matter. But we get out the group stage. Mexico FA did not like that. They kick out Jimmy Lozano. So that's it. 2 managers done in 2 years. And at that at that Copa America, Bielsa's in charge of Uruguay, taking us to 3rd place. So that's great, right? Great for us. And then we finally bring in Javier Aguirre, which he has managed us before, so he already knows what he's doing. Basically, he's here just to stabilize us, carry us through the World Cup, and then he's going to dip because Rafa Marquez is in charge. He's going to be the one in charge to take care of us afterwards, which I still don't think is. I think it's too early for him because he was just settling in Barcelona B, I think, at the time, but they plucked him away from there and they promised him basically the job. So it's like, this guy's been on the dugout line since then, which, whatever. But point is, 3 managers in 3 years. And by the time Aguirre joins, it's already, 2024, going into 2025. So we wasted so much time with the manager when we perfectly had one. And that just shows the incompetence and also the fact of how money-driven these guys, the FA, or that they were so worried about someone coming in and revolutionizing everything. Basically, this FA was like, no, we cannot give up any power to anybody. Which, again, I understand, right? The FA is in charge, so they should be the ones making all the choices. However, Bielsa came in with a football mind, so he was ready to change everything in a football way. But the FA is too concerned with money. So, if that football mindset came into any direct contact with the money that they're getting, they were not going to like it, regardless of how great the project could have been. So, that just shows, it just shows incompetence, So, boom. So now we got Javier Aguirre, which, okay, it's fine. Undefeated in the last 8 games internationally, which is, pretty impressive. So at least we have a bit of steam, a bit of momentum going into this first game of the World Cup. But enough about the manager. Let's look at the players. Oh, our players, dude. Oh, we're so trash, bro. Like, it's terrible. Like, I'm not even gonna compare us to the 2022 squad because it's kind of basically the same. So let's compare the last 2 squads, which, yes, is a little unfair because it was, Mexico's golden generation and the end of the generation, basically, at that point. So, but 2018, well, mind you, we beat Germany, right, in our first group stage game. We had Lozano, Chicha still, Vela, Ochoa, much younger, like, it's Alvarez's first World Cup. Rafa Marquez, by that point, he was already done. But, like, still, like, we don't have anybody even close to Rafa Marquez level in this current squad, and we do, but I'll get to him later. Marco Fabian, Carlos Salcedo, like, our team was stacked in 2018. And we managed to get out the group with, a group involving Germany, like, that just shows the level of the players that we had back then, like, 8 years ago. It's taking even further back to 2014, Brazil, Guardado, Again, a much younger Chicha, no Vela that time, but we still had Dos Santos, Gio, and I think Jonathan. A much younger Ochoa. Rafa Marquez still, good, playing at a high level. Like, we had it. We had it so good, bro. Like, I'll show the teams and then you'll see, like, the difference, the stark contrast in these players. In this current team, I think I'm only happy with about 4 people. That's Raul Jimenez, Edson Alvarez, Johan Vasquez, and Gilberto Morra. And it's a little sad that Gil has to get in that list, not because of his ability. He's a great player, great future talent, hopefully for us in the future, right? Hopefully he goes to a decent club and just works his way up. But, like, the fact that I have to include him in there is a bit of a shame because he's 17 years old. He's still in the MX, which nothing wrong with that, right? But, like, hopefully he gets a move to Europe soon. But he's in Liga MX, right? some of a lot of the senior players, they either are still unfortunately in the MX or they're playing abroad, in a European country or whatever that may be. This kid is a kid still. He should not be one of the names mentioning up here in this list. He should, made it to squad, great, give him some experience, boom, boom, boom. But like, he's being one of the names mentioned. Like, at least for me personally, that I even care or see as a good player in this team. Like, it's terrible. We have an aging Ochoa, which I don't know. Like, another issue with this. Like, why are we bringing a 41-year-old Ochoa into this team? Why? All because Malagon got injured, and that guy is terrible too. Like, okay, hope speed recovery, but he's not a great keeper. I don't like him. I don't like him when he starts for Mexico. So I'm glad he's not starting, but we got Ochoa, so it's like, what are we doing here, guys? Bro, let it go. Like, let him go, right? He doesn't deserve to be here. We have 4 strikers, and that's gonna go into the next discussion right now. 4 strikers and a 4-3-3, with our current playstyle being a possession build-up style of play. Our players are not built for that. They are not good enough to do that, I think. Again, Johan Vasquez can do that. Edson Alvarez can do that. Luis Chavez can do that. Our wingbacks, fullbacks, Jorge Sanchez and Gallardo, which I think they're going to be the ones starting. I love Gallardo. I think he's really great. He's not somebody I trust with the ball, though. Jorge Sanchez went to Europe, couldn't hack it. He went to Porto, Ajax, couldn't do it. So he went back to Cruz Azul, and then now he's in Panathinaikos. I think he's in Greece. But like, this guy, he's not a baller. He's not good enough. Center backs again. It's like Johan Vasquez, and I think I don't want to say. Oh, it's not Cesar Montes. I can't remember his name. But like, I don't like it. Again, 4 strikers in a 4-3. We're playing Quiñones as a left wing. He's a striker, so he's gonna obviously drift inside. And then our wingers, El Piojo, I don't like him. I don't think he's good enough to make it. Alexis Vega, he's good, so why isn't he starting? Instead, we're playing Quiñones. Why? I don't get it, man. And Chino Huerta, he's good, but I don't think he's gonna start because I have never seen him start. I've only ever seen him off the bench, but I think he's better than Piojo on the right, or just put him on the left. Like, dude, I don't think these players and the play style that we're gonna try to implement into this World Cup is very ideal, and we'll see how it goes. We're gonna play. Oh my god, Mexico players are still in Mexico. They don't venture out. They don't go abroad because these Mexican clubs, when they receive offers and bids for these players, do not let them go because they value them at a much higher price point. So instead, they do this terrible game of musical chairs and switching between themselves, trading players. So all these players stagnate and never improve. They just get to a level and they stay in that level because they're just playing in Liga MX. And I get it. These players don't move because they get paid good money in Mexico. But these players are not hungry enough. So why are they getting called up? Because they're the only players we have available. So it's like this vicious cycle of never improving, always staying at a level, because these Mexican club owners do not let these players go. And these same club owners are also making decisions at the federation level, which makes this terrible cycle of bad into bad into bad into bad, and we just never get out this loop. And that's why the real villain of the Mexico national team is the federation. That's why I think this Mexico national team is cooked. If we make it out the group stage, it should be the bare minimum. That's what we should be doing, right? Which I'll gladly take, right? Better than 2022. But this Mexico national team is cooked. Me personally, I'm not very happy with the team, but like, I'm still gonna support, right? Because the players are the players, and it's the World Cup. It's fun, but yeah, guys, I don't see us making it very far. Great if we make it to the quinto partido, right? We make it past that, right? But like round of 32 this time, round of 16, maybe achievable just because there's more teams. But anything past the round of 16 is think very optimistic, very unlikely to happen. And yeah, guys, a little damper right towards the end. But I'm so excited about this World Cup. Hopefully, you guys are also excited to get to watching. It's this Thursday, so be excited, get excited. But yeah, that's just my opinions on Mexico being cooked. Hopefully I'm wrong. Prove me wrong, guys. Please prove me wrong. But thank you guys for watching. Later.